I'm going to switch to English now, actually, because also we have some inspiration from outside Denmark.
It's very kind of you. Thank you.
So you didn't have a digital representation that spoke Danish, so today we are going to do this in English. My name is Lars Bell. I'm from Pedabs. We are an innovation broker that works with innovation technologies. We thought the best way actually to dig a little into this is also kind of saying, so there is a whole technological field of what AI can do, but a way to look at it also is to look at some people that actually have done something around it. So today we have the honor of presenting two of our good partners that have actually taken real life cases, turned them into something intelligent. One case is going to talk about marketing and how you put intelligence into that, and the other is about taking utility providers and using technology to optimize the way they maintain their stuff, so some predictive analysis. So in Pedabs, as I said, we're an innovation broker. We work with 5 core technologies. As you can see, AI is right in the middle of that. It is an important part. It's a part that gets involved in everything, but it actually sits on a platform that is based on cloud and security, and it works very closely with the IoT and the blockchain things that we also heard Thomas talk about. So this is what we work on. This is where we find the best parts, and this is where we put our energy into inspiring and making the markets. Today we're focusing on AI. AI is a lot of technologies, actually. If I was to say what AI is, I could spend an hour and I could keep talking. It's an ever-evolving area, and it's a little like electricity was back when it was invented. We can describe what it is, but we have no idea exactly how far it's going to take us. We just know it's going to be included in a lot of things. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to you, Colin, to take us through the first live case of how we do marketing in an intelligent way.
Thank you very much indeed, Lars. And I know after the last presentation you're wishing you could just tap me on the chest and say, tell me about AI and marketing for 7 minutes. I'll do my best. Can we have a monitor on here, please, if possible? Thank you. So why do we need to bring artificial intelligence into marketing? It's all to do with consumers who are spoiled today and are demanding. They want everything to be about them, and they expect relevance. If you send them things that they don't think are relevant, that are spam or junk, they won't just not respond. They will disconnect from your brand, and they will tell other social media contacts to do that as well. Now, to achieve that relevance, there are 2 things marketers have to do. They've got to create the content that is most compelling, but they've also got to get that to the right person at the right time in the right way. The first part of that, it's what marketers are great at, being able to create, to innovate, to put things together. But it's the second part that is incredibly hard. If you think about the massive data that represents today's consumers and is constantly changing, it means it's very hard for humans to know what's going on and indeed to keep up with anything that changes in it. This is where AI comes in. So the way that we have organized AI for marketing is to allow the marketers to do what they do best, to create, to innovate, to produce the most compelling content and messaging, and have the AI know how and when and to whom to deliver it, by understanding all the details of people's behavior, their preferences, their probabilities they'll behave in particular ways. It can get down to the individual level of granularity, and then as long as you have the marketing automation capability to execute on that, deliver it to the right people at the one-to-one level, and constantly get the feedback from how well that does, both to the marketer and to the AI itself, to continue to learn. How did we organize this? We thought in terms of the customer life cycle. When you're dealing with customers, you go out marketing to the many, but relatively few sign up, so you lose money in acquisition marketing typically. Once they're on board, you can sell them stuff, so you grow more value, and then in many cases, they will gradually disconnect and leave you. And what we're trying to do is look at these 3 phases: the attract phase of getting more and better customers, the grow phase of maximizing value, the retain phase of keeping the valuable people, and try and improve these with AI. So using it to be much more focused in acquisition marketing, make that much more effective, get not just more people on board, but the right and most profitable people, and spend less money in doing it. In the grow phase, we want to make sure we never miss opportunities to cross-sell, to upsell, to enlarge somebody's footprint and relationship with us. And in the retain phase, we want to see the signs that people are at risk of going and be able to intervene in the right way and the right time to keep them loyal. And if we can do that, we not only preserve a valuable customer, but because all the time we're doing our grow actions with AI, we are continually having the opportunity to get them more and more valuable to us. The way we do that is we basically lay out a set of customer touch points, customer interactions throughout the customer life cycle through attract, grow, and retain. And these inject intelligence to specific customer interactions at particular points. And what that allows our customers to do is to turn on in their marketing just these AI-driven interactions that apply to their business and will have the most direct effect. Does it work? Here's a real-life example from one of our customers in Norway. This is from Vita, who are a cosmetics retailer, and they have their loyalty club, which generates over 60% of their revenues, and they use this AI, or the AI-driven modules, to inject intelligence into that marketing. They started off with a set of very specific newsletters that they already had. As you can see, we took that as their baseline. Everybody gets that, but it's at least configured to some specific content for each person. But it's still, despite being slightly tailored, one size fits all. We took that as the baseline to say how much better could AI-driven interactions do than that. And you can see the first one, AI-driven transactional recommendations, does 6 times better. That is when the AI recognizes patterns and things they bought and works out which products, therefore, they're also likely to be interested in. The one in the middle, AI-driven product replenishment, is for things that are cyclical. Each person will go through their lipstick, for example, at a different rate. The AI system is learning for every single signature, that cyclical profile, and reminding them at the right time that it's time to go back and get more. The response rate to that is over 9 times the baseline. Share of wallet optimization is where the AI is looking at the things they buy, looking for departments or categories that they miss, and saying, well, they're probably buying these things elsewhere. What if we make them good offers to get them here? And you can see that that achieves over 4 times the baseline of response. All of these show in the grow phase for customers great success of using AI, quite spectacular improvements, and even in areas which are traditionally very hard to tackle, for the AI-driven win-back, even going for dormant customers who've disengaged, they're still seeing quite respectable figures from that. And I hope that's given you a very quick, very brief insight into what AI can do to bring that machine intelligence and market intelligence together to be a winning combination. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Anders. I'm director here in Orbicon Mathematics, and I'm here today to talk about our Data Apex platform. All of you in this room started this morning by using water. I bet that none of you was actually thinking about or even questioning whether the water would come out of the tap when you turn it on. We take water infrastructure for granted. However, this is a highly complex operation. In Denmark alone, there's more than 100,000 kilometers of pipe underground. This network alone is worth more than 100 billion euros. Each year, we invest more than 1 billion euros in just maintaining this operation. So providing clean, fresh water to each single household, to each single you, is a very complex operation. So why is it so complex? One thing is, of course, it's big. But one of the key issues when you have to manage a very large infrastructure is there's a high number of unknown factors. Each of the utilities in Denmark are covering a large area, geographical area, and here there's a lot of external factors. There's a lot of people that by accident can break your pipelines. Secondly, and this may sound trivial, is it's very hard to inspect. This is an underground infrastructure. When you have to inspect 100,000 kilometers of pipe, it's very costly. So basically you don't do it because you can't afford it. So now you have to start managing an infrastructure where you don't know how it's doing. You don't know the state of the infrastructure. And lastly, if you make a mistake, if you make a wrong decision, everyone will notice. Each of you would have immediately realized if there was no running water this morning. So if you make a mistake in this infrastructure, everyone will know immediately, and you will have to react immediately. So this is a high-risk area. This is why, when you have such an area, this is very, very well suited for using advanced analytics. It's very well suited for using the Watson AI capabilities. And let me give you one example, because we have worked with a number of customers on this. One of them is Benny Nielsen. Benny Nielsen is working at Herning Vand. It's a utility in Denmark which supplies fresh water and manages wastewater for about 50,000 people. Benny is responsible for 1,500 kilometers of pipe, worth approximately 500 million euros. And Benny he's getting pressured. He's getting pressured both from increased regulation. He has to do more with less. So every year his budget is cut and his investment requirements are going up. Secondly, he knows that any decision he makes, he has to defend for the next 50 years. He cannot change his mind. If he changes his mind tomorrow, he will have a problem. So every decision he makes has to last for 50 years. So what we have done is we've tried to help Benny. And the way we've done that is we've built an analytics platform called Data which takes more than 20 different data sources, combine those using advanced analytics from Watson to predict future problems. So what we do here is we help Benny identify, saying, where are the leaks going to be next year? Which pipes do you have are critical? Which pipes should you focus on? How do you make sure that you know how your operational situation is going to be next year? So we help Benny prioritize. We help him make sure that he makes the right decision at the right time and balance the risk of his network. And by doing so, this Data Apex solution is a unique proposition because it combines infrastructure data with financial insight with real sensor data. So we take both, you can say, data which is more than 50 years old, which is the pipeline original data. We use the financial data to understand the financial impact of any decision you make, and we combine that with real-time sensor data. So what is happening right now in the network? In order to do that, we then combine that, we analyze that using advanced analytics, and we visualize it on a map. Because anyone who's been in a utility knows that they think in maps. They think in areas, they think in this house, they think in this area, this section, this region. So by combining all these things, we provide data-driven support to Benny, and we help Benny and his peers make better decisions, which at the end of the day will make sure that they run a more cost-effective operation, and at the end of the day have a lower water bill for each of you guys in the room. So this is what we do. If any of you are working within the area of infrastructure, critical assets, I would encourage you to come and visit us at Pedabs booth. We are in Studio 1. We'll be happy to show you how we are working with critical asset management. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention.
So thank you guys. I hope this gave you a little insight into some practical usage of AI, maybe some IoT also and some other stuff. But just before we end, a few questions from my side to you guys also. If you were to give one piece of advice to the audience here of how you get started with this, now I heard Thomas say that you blow up things. I hope you didn't blow up banning water. I haven't heard about it at least, so, but one piece of advice, Anders, if you were to give it to the audience.
I think one major lesson learned we have is that you have to get started. And this may sound trivial, but when we started out with this project here, we didn't know what data sources to use. We didn't know the validity of the data we were using, and we didn't know if we could actually predict anything with a significant validity. So my biggest, you can say, lesson learned, or my advice to you guys is to get started, because this is a learning process. So you need to start working with this in order to understand the capabilities, both of and also the value of the data and the possibilities in the advanced analytics area.
So, just get started. Try it out.
It sounds trivial, but that was what we did.
So, and this is just for big companies, right? Or
this is for very small companies as well. We started out 2 guys on one pilot project. We have now done many pilot projects, but we started out 2 guys just doing a small project at one utility, which were brave enough to let us in and look at their data.
Okay.
So, and then see it as a learning process, both for you and for the customer.
Cool, excellent.
Yeah, I would expand on that slightly, but I agree 100%, which is to say, don't look for excuses why you can't get started. I've seen far too many cases where organizations think, oh, our data can't nearly be ready enough for this, we could take time to do our data warehousing. Get in there and get some value. Having said that, if you'll excuse the water analogy, if you dive into your data lake and just swim around fishing for useful things, you will drown. There are any number of statistically significant facts in your data. Only a tiny number of them actually matter for your business. So always start with the business objectives that you're going to be trying to address, like being able to maintain your water network better, and work backwards from there to ensure you get value.
Okay, thanks. And finally, just to tap it off, so if I was sitting out here, I had my own little company and I wanted to get started, because now I heard I can't do it, it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, and there is good potential. How should I get about it? How should I start?
Well, my recommendation would be start by reaching out to someone who's tried this before. There are some lessons learned in being through these processes here. So I would say call Peter, get the right partners on board, and learn from them. Don't try to reinvent the whole thing, but start with someone who's already done it before. But get started, get your hands dirty.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a case of finding the low-hanging fruit. The quick wins that you know are going to give you value and that will therefore justify further use of AI in your business. That's very much the approach we've taken. As you saw from the Agillic perspective, we've cut marketing AI up into small manageable portions to do specific things. And we or others can help you to say which of those might fit in your business, which can quickly give you value. And again, we will be also on the Pedabs stand all afternoon. Do please come and talk to all three of us on that.
So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of visits. Anyhow, contact details are up here. I know both Colin and Andres would be more than happy to take calls and share a little of your experience. I hope this has been valuable for you, also of seeing what actually came out of trying something out where we started a little uncertain, seeing how far it could take us, and actually having something that saves quite a lot of money and gives some real benefits to the business. If you're interested, also one of the things we do in Pedabs is that we do have these little workshops. We call them What's Your Next, where we come out, we inspire, we share a lot more cases of what we've done. We have about 50 partners that work with us. It's totally free, but we come out, we inspire, we talk about it, and we try to take a start in your company. But anyhow, this is what we wanted to share with you today, and thanks a lot for the attention.